Okay, trustees, we are live. We are recording. Phone lines are opened. Go for it.
Okay. Yeah, guys, we're on. I'd like to welcome everybody to the regular meeting of the East Hampton Town Trustees for October 28th, 2024. And I'd like to open with the Pledge of Allegiance.
United States of America, to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Arlene, can you do roll call, please?
Certainly. John Aldred.
Here.
Francis Bach.
Here.
David Cavaletto. Patrice Dalton.
Here.
Ben Dollinger.
Here.
Jim Barneau. Jim Grimes. Celia Josephson.
Here.
And William Taylor.
Here.
Thank you.
Thank you. Matt, do we have anybody on the phone lines?
You have 0 calls on the line. Thank you.
All right. I don't see anybody in the audience for public comment. So we'll go directly to old business. And we're starting out with the USGS buoy in Georgia Pond. So we spoke about this at the last meeting. It's a buoy that gives live data on the water level of the pond. Right now, it's being done in a partnership of the East Hampton Village, Friends of Georgia Pond, and USGS. They're asking if we would be interested in partnering with them. I think on Friday, the proposal of the numbers for this year's contract went out to everybody. Did you see it?
No.
Nobody saw it.
I can pull it up. It was emailed to everybody with the agenda.
I saw it.
Yep. I can put it on the screen.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Thank you.
You said you did email it, or you will? Yeah.
It was emailed to the entire board.
You did email it Friday.
Correct.
That's what you're saying, yeah.
It was attached with the agenda and the other items for tonight. Can you see
Okay,
it?
so, yeah, if you could scroll down, please.
More?
A little bit more. That's it. Okay, so it's a 4-year contract. As you can see, there's a split. The USGS numbers are down the side. That's their annual contribution to this. Starts out at $1,436, and their final payment will be $1,458. The other numbers are co-op, which is currently the Friends of Georgia Pond and the Village. So they start at $10,776. In the 4th year, it's $11,883. If we were to get in on this, we would pick up 1/3 of those costs. So the total for the 4 years would cost us roughly $15,000.
Yeah, probably a little less than that.
So, does anybody have any questions or comments?
Is it 1/3 of the 49? I can't really read that.
It's 1/3 of the 45.
Okay.
And then the USGS has their portion of it, which is a total of $5,787.
So have there been any efforts to get the town to contribute any
No.
funds?
No.
Okay.
Here's what confused me, Francis. It's in the cooperator total.
Mhm.
It says cooperator. If the cooperators are the village, the friends,
Mhm.
the trustees,
Mhm.
it says cooperator total is 51. So,
But there's cooperator cost share, which is the 45 and the 57. And then when the total
57, I thought that USGS was contributing the 57,
they are.
but they're not part of the cooperators.
Well, they are.
It says
It
cooperator.
says cooperator cost share, shows the two portions.
I guess they break it down by the federal
Okay.
thing, and then Anybody that's not federal would be considered a cooperative.
No,
Right.
I'm not so sure the math is correct.
Well, the only other question I had, we just were talking about possibly approaching the town to see if they would be interested in joining into this cooperator conglomerate here.
Yes, that was brought up tonight.
And if there's going to be a contract for this for 4 years, would that preclude the town coming into this at some point after the contract is ratified?
Is it possible to agree to just 1 year and then approach the
It's a
town?
4-year contract.
It's all or nothing, I guess.
I don't have the answer to your question, John. I can ask that tomorrow.
I looked on their website and, trying to understand what's the benefit of this? I know it's telemetry, so it's gonna, beam it somewhere, but what are we gonna use the data for?
Well, it gives us live view of the depth of the pond.
Right, so we'll just see the depth.
Yeah,
Right.
we've been using it, you can tell when the pond's open, when the pond closes, and you can correlate it.
So it's useful.
It's been very useful.
Chris
data.
Gobler uses it to coordinate with his other readings.
Yeah.
For example, the salinity, I think it's the salinity goes
Gives you really precise opening and
something
closing
else,
dates
the
and
oxygen
things like
level.
that.
The oxygen level drops when the pond opens.
So it sounds like there's a valid reason to, to contribute, and, right?
Oh, yeah, no, I'm not arguing contributing. I'm just saying, the village is in and the friends and the trustees, the town's an
Yeah, the
interested
town.
party. They own land on one side, just like the village owns land on one side. The town's doing other work around the pond. It would be a natural question, I would think, to ask the town if they'd be interested in contributing, would be like $2,000-3,000 a year. It's not a big amount.
The information is useful to the town. I think the way this thing works is there's some piping in the town that goes up on a land parcel. And they take the recordings off the pressures. And so I think the on-land portion is probably in village property. That's probably why they're involved. Now it isn't. And I guess when they originally did it, they also use it to see where the pond level is in relation to houses and stuff like that.
Yeah. So who would ask the town?
What do you ask at the town even?
Well, I think part of the problem is the time is very short.
The contract needs to be signed by November 1st.
What happens if it doesn't? Rip it out? You stop reading?
I don't know.
Yeah.
You're asking me questions.
Yeah. I would prone to think we should approve it and ask the town to kick in.
Yeah, I think that's how we'd have to approach it.
Motion?
Yeah, I'll make a motion, we approve it and
Pursue the town for additional contribution.
ask the town for,
I'll second.
All in favor?
to get in on the act.
Aye.
Okay.
What they would give us, like a reimbursement if it did work out? Is that
Yeah, I'm sure we can work out the details. I mean, it's probably gonna-
Well, I'll see what I can
Yeah.
get done this week.
Yeah.
I mean, we haven't, Friday's when it's signed, so. All right.
I'll ask the water quality hierarchy
Yeah.
if it would be eligible for water quality.
Do they work in reimbursements?
I don't think they do. But, I don't think this would be eligible. I think it's probably would be considered monitoring. not necessarily tied to any improvement project
Right.
Just
specifically.
data.
But I think it's worth asking a question, even if it's a future reference.
All right. Next, we have the Sag Harbor and North Haven water quality agreements. What is that?
Is that the one where Mary Ann Eddy presented?
Well, I think this is really to authorize the trustees to, I don't know how you put it, in the past, what we've always done was money would be funneled through the trustees because the trustees East Hampton trustees are the only one of the contributors who have an existing agreement with Stony Brook to be able to pass money to them. So the money comes to the trustees from the different groups, the Village of Sag Harbor, North Haven, Southampton trustees, Southampton Town, and then the trustees write a check and send it to Stony Brook. I think this, if I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong, Allison, these documents, we agree to carry that out.
All right.
Yeah, so these documents are allowing this board is agreeing to act as basically collecting the funds for all of the different partners for the Sag Harbor Water Quality Initiative, and then North Haven also requested that the trustees do the same thing because the trustees hold the account with the Research Foundation in the state of New York and the other municipalities.
But this agreement is only,
One of them is only for North Haven.
right,
Because theirs is a separate proposal. From the
Okay.
Sag Harbor Water Quality.
Okay.
So rather than confuse things and mix them together, we made them two separate so that it would go directly towards each proposal.
all right. Let me read this one first. This is the Sag Harbor Water Quality Initiative Agreement. Whereas the health and cleanliness of the bay and harbor waters of Sag Harbor continue to be of utmost importance to the residents of the towns of Southampton, East Hampton, and the Village of Sag Harbor. And whereas the Village of Sag Harbor, Southampton Town, the Southampton Town Trustees, and the East Hampton Town Trustees have all agreed to participate for another year in the water quality monitoring program proposed by Dr. Gobler of Stony Brook University. And whereas the following amounts have been pledged by these municipalities towards the water quality initiative for 2024. The East Hampton Town Trustees have pledged to contribute $3,000. Sag Harbor Village has pledged to contribute $7,500. The Southampton Town Trustees have pledged to contribute $2,000. And the Southampton Town has pledged to contribute $2,000. And whereas for the singular purpose of adhering to the SUNY Research Foundation's funding requirements, the East Hampton Town Trustees have again agreed to pool these funds into their IOLA escrow account and to fund the initiative with a single check. And whereas the East Hampton Town Trustees as escrowee assume no responsibility to manage, direct, or oversee the project, in the town of Southampton, Southampton Town Trustees, and Sag Harbor Village shall hold harmless and indemnify the trustees as escrowee for any act, incident, omission, injury, accident, environmental damage, property damage, or otherwise, or any state of federal or local municipal violation arising out of or relating to this project. And now therefore be it resolved that the East Hampton Town Trustees hereby pledge $3,000 to this initiative. And upon clearing of all of the other municipal checks into the IOLA escrow account, the East Hampton Town Trustees shall write a check for the total amount of $14,500 payable to the Research Foundation of the State of New York, representing the balance owed on the Sag Harbor Water Quality Initiative proposal for the 2024 water quality monitoring season. Now therefore, be it further resolved, this agreement may be executed in several counterparts, including emailed or facsimile signatures, each of which shall be deemed an original, and all such counterparts together shall contribute one and the same instrument.
Oh, there's one more line.
Yeah. However, the agreement shall not be effective or enforceable against any party hereto until all parties have completely and properly executed at least one counterpart of this contract. Have a motion?
I make a motion, we
A second.
accept that.
You have a second? All in favor? Aye. Okay. Here's the second part. This is the North Haven Water Quality Initiative Agreement. Whereas the health and cleanliness of the bay and harbor waters of the village of North Haven continue to be of utmost importance to the residents of the towns of East Hampton and village of North Haven. And whereas the village of North Haven has agreed to participate for another year in the water quality monitoring program proposed by Dr. Gobler of Stony Brook University. And whereas the village of North Haven has pledged $29,373 towards the water quality assessment of North Haven for 2024. And whereas for the singular purpose of adhering to the SUNY Research Foundation's funding requirements, the East Hampton Town Trustees have again agreed to pool these funds into their IOLA escrow account and to fund the initiative with a single check. And whereas the East Hampton Town Trustees as escrowee shall assume no responsibility to manage, direct, or oversee this project, and the village of North Haven shall hold harmless and indemnify the trustees as escrowee for any act, incident, omission, injury, accident, environmental damage, property damage, or otherwise, or any state, federal, or local municipal violation arising out of or relating to this project. And now therefore be it resolved that the East Hampton Town Trustees shall collect $29,373 from the village of North Haven, and upon the clearing of the municipal check into their IOLA escrow account, the East Hampton Town Trustees shall write a check for the total amount of $29,373 payable to the Research Foundation of the State of New York, representing the balance owed on the North Haven Water Quality Assessment proposal for the 2024 water quality monitoring season. And now therefore be it further resolved, this agreement may be executed in several counterparts, including emailed or facsimile signatures, each of which shall be deemed an original, and all such counterparts together shall constitute one and the same instrument. However, the agreement shall not be effected or enforceable against any party hereto until all parties have completely and properly executed at least one counterpart of this contract. Do I have a motion?
Make the motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Now I lost my agenda.
Have we seen that proposal for North Haven?
Yes, I emailed them out.
I'm just curious if it's like SAG.
But did you email it, did you say, or?
I emailed it, but I have emailed it to Chris Carrillo and the committee, so I can forward it right now.
Yeah, I have a big gap and I haven't seen it, so I'm just curious.
Yeah, something was changed.
It may have been
Actually, if you have the Southampton one, can you, or the Sag Harbor one, can you forward?
They're both on one email. Yeah, I'll forward it to
Yeah.
him right now. I'm sorry about that.
I'd be curious to see where the sampling stations are. Again, I'm thinking about East Hampton Town, might be interested in contributing to this.
I have the proposal, it's not very specific in Sag Harbor's, I don't think, but I can also send tomorrow the report from last year,
Yeah,
which would show the
that would
site.
show the spot.
But now I can send the proposals, okay, Patrice?
Thank you.
Again, given that Sag Harbor, Southampton trustees and Southampton Town both contribute to the Sag Harbor Water Quality Initiative, all the sampling sites on the Southampton side of Sag Harbor are in Southampton trustee water.
Right.
Similar to, our side, we have an interest in Northwest Harbor.
Now, North
But
Haven's
so does the
not,
town.
Yeah.
North Haven's not asking for a contribution. They're carrying the whole thing themselves.
But I'm sure there's sampling sites in the harbor off North Haven that would be in Northwest Harbor,
Mhm.
which is on the East Hampton side of the dividing line.
Is there any similar work going on in Shelter Island? Because, you go to North Haven and then Shelter Island is right there.
I don't know.
Any other questions on this?
No.
All right. Committee reports, Aquaponic. We have a request from Keith Grimes, Inc., on behalf of 91 Water's Edge to renew trustee permit A-3-23 for bulkhead reconstruction. Were they unable to complete this project? Did they start?
It's a renewal and slight modification. They had to change the bulkhead cap.
Oh, that's right.
This is Hog Creek, right?
Water's Edge is Acabonic-ish.
It's on the cliff.
It's on Gardner's
It's on the
Bay. It's on the
Yeah,
bay.
it's on Gardeners Bay and it's really high.
This is in Clearwater?
No.
No, it's Barnes Landing area.
Oh,
Between-
Water's Edge, okay.
Between Miles
Yeah.
Point.
It's, Barnes.
Never mind.
Anybody want to make a motion
Motion to.
to renew? Is there a second?
Yeah, a second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Hi.
Okay, Acabonic Harbor Channel.
That one, as you all know, I'm sure, there's no channel markers currently in the harbor, because the bottom shifts and it's not possible to really state with any accuracy where the channel is at various times. So they decided not to put up any channel markers. The fishermen, the commercial fishermen, they can navigate by local knowledge. But other people don't have that local knowledge, and you have a lot of non-motorized boats, the, like, stand-up paddle boards, kayaks, and then you have the fishermen coming through, and it could result in a conflict. It hasn't yet, but it certainly is not a safe situation. So Marine Patrol, they had spoken with the county, the guy who runs the dredge a couple of years ago, and he was going to dredge the harbor all the way through to the landing, to the launch.
To the launching ramp?
And nothing happened on that. Kim reached out to the Department of Public Works last week to find out where they were with this. Haven't gotten back yet. But so the fishermen, they're concerned, and they notice that when the wind blows from the northeast, it blows the sand into the channel. And, so it's an ongoing thing, and it's...
That's why we take the tip off all the time.
Right.
Stuff like that. We got the permit to do that ourselves because the county wouldn't do it unless they did the whole thing. I think they took the buoys out a while ago because there wasn't much of a channel to mark.
They can't mark it because they can't say with certainty where the red and the green should go.
There's a lot of, you have to get Coast Guard permits to put permanent buoys and stuff in. The whole deal is the county stopped dredging to the launching ramp because they said the material was not beach quality. That's why we had Dr. Gobler do the tests on it this year, because we want them to go to the launching ramp. So it's kind of an involved, complicated situation.
Yeah.
But the dredging the dredging decisions and the dredging permit for the entire channel is a Suffolk County project. We have a permit to just take the tip off.
Right.
So there's like 2 or 3 permits for the same geographical area. A little slightly different.
Well, it's been like...
What are we being asked?
What are we being asked? We're being asked, when is this going to, what's going on with the dredging? What happened? And
I think it's lined up for this spring, this coming
I
spring.
don't know. Kim doesn't know. So,
For some reason, I thought it was.
yeah, we just want to get the Department of Public Works to tell us when it is.
Well, I don't know what their permit says, do you?
No.
I mean, because I'm not sure their recent permits included that part down to the launching ramp.
No, they didn't.
And nobody's gonna dredge down the launching ramp unless they have a permit to do so.
Right.
And it's a 10-year permit, so if they're working on a 10-year permit now, it doesn't include that part of the...
Well,
So
we
they'd
don't know.
have to go for a modification, which,
Can we
Yeah.
send them
It's set back.
correspondence?
We just need to get the Department of Public Works to explain what the permit is and what the steps are. If there's anything about, analyzing the bottom, I don't think there is, but maybe there is.
We had Dr. Goldberg do the test to, because it's either beach compatible or,
If it's not, can it get taken away? So that's too.
we could probably store it there, for,
Yeah.
well, the county's not going to pay to do that.
So we have,
So- And you start carting that stuff away, and very often it has to go to a hazardous
if they consider,
Right.
site.
but that's why we had Dr. Goldberg do the testing. Did we get the results from him yet?
Well, they did that last year.
We do.
And it was, it was okay to put on a
Well,
beach.
there's some silt in
It's
some
fine.
places and sand in some places.
I remember those plots he showed. Yeah.
That would be up to the county whether they agreed, that those results were adequate to allow or dredging or not.
So
This thing about boats and the kayaks and paddle boards, that's not going to be resolved one way or another.
No.
though.
No, we just need to, if it would be nice if the fishermen could know, you know, they have, you know, the right of way and it's paddle boards have the right of, you know, way and they're in the channel.
Yeah.
Right now, they're a little concerned about it.
Who's they?
So,
Who's they?
The
fishermen.
Fishermen.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there's
But
been conflicts for
that's not really,
50 years back.
Goes
About
generations.
generations, slow down, get out, stop swimming in my channel.
Using my,
there was an issue with people swimming in the channel and there is a buoy there. There was, I think there still is.
no,
No, they took them.
Louis gone.
I think they decided to take them out years ago
Nobody
because
ever paid any
There was a
attention
buoy
to it.
in the middle of the channel, like where we would swim, you know, in the creek.
On the edge of the channel.
Yeah, there's two out into Gardner's Bay, or four maybe, and then one in, like, where we dredged.
I mean, it was a buoy that said no swimming in channel.
Yes, it said no swimming.
It was
channel.
ignored largely.
It's gone.
It wasn't there last summer.
No, it hasn't been there for quite a while. So that's the other issue, is people just go in there and they swim. It's boat channel. I mean, it's okay if you want to do that, but.
It's something we could do ourselves, isn't it?
you need,
I mean, if we
Marine
wanted
Patrol
to, you need
used to
permits.
put it there.
Yeah.
I don't know why they took it away, other than maybe it was like useless because nobody paid
technically
any
any
attention.
buoy you put in has to get approval from the Coast Guard office up in Boston. You know, there's a whole procedure. I think what we're going to do is we got to reach out to the county and find out what.
Yeah, that's what we're doing. We're trying to figure it out. Kim is the, you know, she's their lead person, so she's taking the lead on it.
And we can make sure they have copies of Dr. Gobler's,
Yeah, we have them.
you know, give them copies of them.
There's a similar situation in Northwest Creek and we wanted to dredge, in the town too, wanted to dredge down farther into the harbor, into the creek.
Yeah, we had all kind, I remember years ago, we had it all, we had the lines of the new channel. And
Yeah,
the
there's
county would do it.
existing documentation. I think there was a proposal made to the county that they didn't act on.
We had you were probably involved too, we had where it was gonna go, it was just to get through that flat. It's,
Right.
The county continues to have financial constraints and they're gonna find any way they can to
Right.
yeah, they,
cut the projects.
Well, but as Kim explained to us a few years ago, there is a procedure. You can work with the county to do additional dredging that they can't really pay for. You pay for it. And that's been an arrangement they've had with Southold Town in some years. And that's kind of like how Kim has been talking to the county about doing at least the Northwest and possibly could be done in Acoma.
see, the original, the whole concept of them dredging channels is to provide public access, which means you have to connect it to a place where the public can launch their boats. They used to always look into, does this go to a launching ramp and how many parking
Right.
spaces are there and stuff like that. So I unless the county can come up with a very good reason for not going to the launching ramp, they should go to the launching
You
ramp.
know, I think there is public parking by the launch ramp,
Yeah, there is.
right?
Yeah.
So there's parking for boats, there's,
There's parking for vehicles and
Vehicles.
trailers and stuff like
so
that.
we have met those criteria.
You know, they should, the county just for some reason decided that there's not beach compatible material, right? I think we should take issue with that. You know, and make them,
Well, we should provide the analysis to Kim and let her.
Dr. Gomers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He just presented that, so I remember it.
Yeah, so, I mean,
And
we
in this-
believe that the county should,
Pardon?
we believe it's the county's obligation to connect the channel to the launching ramp.
Yeah.
Because that's the reason for the town.
And in this year's work, he's doing sediment analysis in Northwest Creek
Oh, in another sediment.
for the same reason.
Yeah, okay, I'll put that in here. This creek sediment. That's not in this year's
It's
analysis?
in the 2024 work.
Okay. So we've got the two sediment analyses.
And he's also doing bathymetry, the depth soundings in the area that we're interested
Yep.
in dredging.
So it's good we have that data.
Yeah, Northwest, we had the whole thing pretty much written out, and the county didn't want to do it.
Well,
You gotta get the county to do it, yeah.
so, we'll try working through the Department of Public Works and see where it goes. I think we met all the criteria because they did read that about the parking, public access.
Yeah, they might, to justify the channel, you have to justify public access to
So
the
how would that
channel.
come into play in Northwest?
Well, what we've been talking about is it would go to Cuffy's Landing, which is a point of land on the Barcelona side. One of the road that goes down from the golf course to the beach. There's a side road that comes off and ends there, and it's a place called Cuffy's Landing. It was an Indian homestead.
It was Cuffy from Sag Harbor. He lived there.
Yeah.
His well is still there.
Coffee's well.
Can't launch small boats there and things.
There's also a criteria for environmental dredging that the DEC opened up as kind of a thing to improve water quality. But I don't think it's been ever used yet, yeah?
But I think the county, as you said, has to justify it navigationally.
Yeah.
But, I think that by not connecting to the launching ramp, they're kind of violating what they should be doing.
So in Northwest, we are near the launch ramp, right?
In Northwest, the county actually owns the basin
Right.
and the launching ramp.
Yeah.
So
And they've done work.
they're
on it.
dredging through their own land, basically.
So they would do that.
They do that.
They don't have to dredge to it's deep down in where the basin is.
Right.
They've never, I don't think
never
they've ever
filled.
dredged that since they originally changed the inlet, and I think they dredged that
It's
basin
just
out.
never filled in, I don't think. But the inlet, I mean, the entrance fills in all the time.
Yeah.
But they also do that quite frequently. Part of it's got to do with the size of the job and the amount of money they want to spend. They allocate way more to Smithtown than they do to East Hampton,
But our input gives them information about what channels to dredge by priority.
Right.
So I think last year or 2 years ago, there was a priority for Northwest Creek. I think that this year's priority, as Francis said, is Accabonac. So it's basically Accabonac Northwest and Three Mile
Yeah.
Harbor. That's
Okay. All right. Thank you. I'll keep you informed.
good luck with it.
Yeah.
Now we'll get into Northwest. Yes, vandalism on a sign. I don't know what that is about.
So the office got a call or an email from
Okay, I know what it is.
somebody from the DEC who said that a trustee sign had been vandalized, and the sign says, I forget what it says,
Outer beach permit. required.
no beach driving without an outer beach permit.
Yeah.
That's not a trustee sign. Turns out it's a county sign.
Right.
So I think what's going on there is the county put up that sign, probably in cooperation with the DEC years back, to try to prevent unregulated driving on the beach. So the DEC person thought that it was the trustee sign, thought that the trustees had coordinated with the state to put that sign there. But it's not a trustee sign. However, the reason I thought this should go on the agenda is the ownership of the beach at the end of the road that goes from the golf course down to the beach. The beach right there is county owned. When the
Are
county,
you talking about to the right? If you go, you pull in, you go to the right,
also if you go straight,
very straight, okay.
it kind of, the county ownership basically ends at the lot line of the house that's there to the left, to the west. However, after that lot line, it becomes trustee beach. So I thought discussion the board might want to have is, do we want to get our name on some kind of a sign there? Just stating that you have to have a beach driving, East Hampton Town beach driving permit if you continue on to Trustee Beach.
So you
Barcelona.
can't directly access the Trustee Beach from that road. That goes
Depends
directly.
on how
it
you
goes directly-
define what that means.
Well, it goes directly down to the county beach, and then you have to follow the county beach until you get to the Trustee Beach,
Right.
correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in essence, you need the county one.
You do need the county permit to get to the
need
Trustee
both.
Beach, yeah.
You need both.
The reason in my mind, this might be of interest to the trustees is that just so the trustees are represented as an interested party in the Barcelona mix of ownerships. One of the reasons that Barcelona,
We own the road.
Yep, it's a Trustee
I don't know
Road.
if we own that road.
It's called Trustee Road.
That's a name. We own the road that comes from Swamp Road and goes along
Yeah.
the marsh. But I don't know if that actually becomes the road that most people drive on at
I
some
don't think so,
point
because
or
that one
not.
goes through the golf course. If you get to the end of the Swamp Road, it takes you to that T, that where you tee off or whatever. But the Trustee Road, I think if we look on that document that the attorney drew up for us, I think it's on there. I can check.
Well, regardless, we do own road there somewhere,
We
right?
do.
And so people can access down Barcelona by our road at some point. And we do own the beach,
Yep.
except what the county owns. So those are our ownership interests.
How about a sign that
And
says,
I'm just thinking, do we want to remind people that the trustees have ownership interests there?
I
If
like the
it's
idea.
becoming forgotten
Yeah,
in all the state interest there and the county interest there.
Both called Trustee Road, says.
we could have a sign that says property of trustees, East Hampton trustees, and don't mention driving. Because then you get into the permit and do we really want that? And
Well, we could do a lot of things. I don't know. I thought we might get together with the state and the county and find out why that county sign was put where it was put, what the history there is, what the state's view of things is, and, come to some,
I noticed when we go to the Southampton, we have sometimes meetings at the Marine Research Facility. The Southampton trustees have signs in the parking lot which says, "Beyond this point is property of Southampton trustees." That's kind of an interesting way to do it, just to notify people this is trustee property with no, nothing beyond that, just to demarc it.
it could be, it could be one way of approaching it. My thought was if a sign goes back there, the county wants to put a sign that says you have to have this outer beach permit. It could be a dual sign, continuing along the beach requires an East Hampton Town beach driving permit.
And what about the town? So it would be the East Hampton Town permit, right? Just the regular.
The East Hampton Town beach driving permit includes the trustees.
Right. It's the same sticker.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's the same sticker, yeah.
So would we have to get the town to join us in this? No?
I don't think so.
It's covered already. And it's like the same situation in the Peak State Park. Right? Technically, you shouldn't drive out there unless you have county, state permit. Yeah.
It's true.
Most of the time they put the sign up, then they ignore it. It used to be like once a year, they would cruise through the Peak sometime.
Well, I think it's an interesting idea because when I go back there, I get confused. Like, where's the state and where's the county and it's not that clear.
Well, the uses there are really mainly controlled by the state.
Right.
Hunting, like the road on the other side of Barcelona, the west side of Barcelona, is heavily used now. But I remember a few years ago, it was all overgrown. So the state is making decisions in what can be considered trustee-owned property. So I just thought it would be good to have, if there's going to be a sign, we're being asked if it's our sign.
Yeah.
We can say no, but we should have a sign acknowledging trustee ownership.
Maybe we could go there with the documentation that we have and walk the property and see, how it aligns with the documentation that we have.
I'm looking at the Google map, and what's interesting is the trustee road goes directly to that house. So we know they're using that as their driveway,
Right.
but there doesn't seem to be a direct access to the beach
There is.
from that point.
There is.
There is.
Is it?
Yeah.
Without going on the private property?
Yeah, it's a sandy
It's
route.
actually heavily used.
Yeah.
I don't see it. There's one before it. See if you look. So here's the house. The road comes right to the house, which is their
That's the
driveway.
yeah.
Right. It's part of the road. This,
This is the access, basically.
but that's still county. If it starts at the
Yes, that's,
property line,
Well-
it's county.
yeah, from about here over is county.
Right. So is there a direct access point from the trustee road to the beach?
Yeah.
Well, no, you have to go on the county beach and then
Right.
you come to the trustee.
Right. Now, the other road, it does go directly to the beach,
Yes,
the one that goes past the first green.
yes, right, that does. I assume that's a trustee. There used to be a road that went all the way around,
Mhm.
and it's the same road.
Right.
Now this is eroded away and it's been turned into a trail and
Mhm. Right.
it's no longer a road.
Oh, it used to be a loop.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Wow.
so now all that exists is one road on each side.
What's the old like abandoned house off the abandoned
It's not abandoned. Just sold for a lot of
He
money.
means,
Oh,
he means
okay.
that
The one
house.
that like this fell, the roof caved in.
Yeah,
That Trustees, is that ours?
I don't know what that is.
No, I think that was a private house. But I think as, you know, there's a trail on the creek side of that old abandoned house. It's a walking trail now, but I think I walked it recently and it looked like it was an old road bed. It's not, you know, cut through the woods narrow trail. It's like they made a walking trail on an old roadbed. So that's why I'm thinking that might be actually what the Trustee Road is.
Oh, could be.
And it meets into the road that goes down to the house. But I don't think the whole road from the golf course is all trustee owned. But I don't know.
The golf course, I can believe that I don't know who owns that. But maybe the state,
The state does.
State owns the golf course.
but the road. I mean, I'm going way back in
Well, I mean, when this land was privately owned, there was a whole thing that went on he had development plans in, and the trustees actually researched their ownership of the roads there, and that information was used to kind of stop that development and convince him that he was better off selling this over to the state as you know, reserved land.
What was that?
1980.
When was that?
1980? Not that long.
Around early.
I think didn't they use that eminent domain to take it, and they wound up getting hit with a huge.
I don't remember the details. I just remember that the trustee roads loomed large in the whole conversion from private to public.
There was like a huge development plan for there, and it stopped. But then, I guess the court awarded him some seriously large amount of money for the property at the end.
who maintains the trustee road now?
I think the homeowner that owns
Yeah.
That one road, but not the other.
Because the trustees used to,
and I guess the state must maintain the other one. Somebody cuts it.
yeah,
It's not the trustees.
but I don't think it was always that way.
Well, it was probably used much more in the past, so it maintained itself.
And used less by the state, you know, there was less hunting maybe, but now it seems like the state's doing most of it.
I guess, I don't know. It looks like it's still, that people still drive on it.
Yeah, oh
It
yeah.
gets
Not that much.
traveled daily. I think often gets used.
But I'm talking about the road that goes from Swamp Road to that road that goes down to the beach.
So it goes through houses, you turn off, and there was the kennel,
Right.
Stoudenger's kennel, and then there was, some of his land was sold, and there's houses there, and then you go past that and you go all the way through, right? You go past the pond and,
Well, yeah, well, there's a walking path that goes past the pond and
right,
connects to that trustee road. That trustee road goes directly to Swamp Road.
and you can drive it.
You can drive that, but you can't drive if you go in past to where Stoudenger's entrance was, and there's still a garage there.
Right.
They took the house down out of the garage. You go in there, you get down to where the pond is, and then you can walk to the west on a trail, and that meets the trustee road that goes north-south. And that trustee roadway, if you continue south on it, goes directly to Swamp Road, next to, I think it's Pat Hope's house.
It's Pat Hope's house. So that, you can drive through there past her house and take that road to the golf course, right? So that's the one
That's a trustee road. That's clearly a trustee road.
really trusty.
But I guess my question is, I don't know if that road links up to the, maintained road that goes down to the beach, if that's all trustee road now, or if that sort of veered along that road and that maintained road was cut otherwise.
I don't remember that road ever going, I don't remember ever taking that road beyond the golf course. And then I would come out on the golf course and then pick up the trustee road.
Yeah, that's how it's kind of aligned now. But like I said, there's a walking trail that cuts off the road that looks like it was originally a roadway. So that might be where the original trustee road continued.
Could be.
For a while. Not sure.
Okay, so back to the sign.
Allison, did you ever talk to the DC guy again? And or
Not after the first call. He just sent that email that I forwarded.
I can see a sign that says that both permits are required.
Yeah.
Beach
Yeah.
driveway. Yeah.
Yeah, just an explanatory sign as to, and that.
Now, the other road, we may want to put a sign at the end of that one also. The one that goes through
At the golf course end?
Yeah. Yep.
We might want to, yeah. We should probably talk to the county too and find out what the story is with their sign. If we're gonna put a sign up, just try to coordinate with them, I would think.
blue-green algae update.
I just got another reading from Wayne Scott Pond from last Wednesday, I think it was, at 454 micrograms per liter. So it's still blooming. And that's it.
I thought temperatures killed it off.
Well, like I said, last meeting, I think it was, or last two meetings ago, one of the things that triggered the concern about Swan Pond in Lionhead was that a bloom was occurring in the winter, actually. So I think, there's different species of algae that do bloom at different times. Out in the bay, there's a natural winter bloom. It's a whole different mix of algae that basically cold water algae.
Is it toxic?
No, this is, forget the
Right.
recent history. This is, historically, there's a winter bloom and a summer bloom.
Right.
And in the summer blooms, it starts off with a certain assemblage of algae, and then it can morph into different assemblages of algae as the summer goes by. You kind of see that with the green algae in the ponds too, because they, along with the numbers, they're giving the dominant species that they're finding, and it changes. It's a little different in the beginning of the year, and then it changes as the year goes by. So,
We haven't had rain in a very long time.
really,
Is the algae is prevalent with because I see like near a lot of ponds are pretty well dry now. And the deer are looking for water.
in my backyard.
Yeah,
And all the lawns are brown. This is the longest drought we
yeah.
scary when you think about all the dead pine trees out in the peak.
Yeah.
I know, we're lucky not to have had a brush fire.
No rain in the forecast, so not going.
Really. Something Thursday, but
I noticed by Town Pond, they have some like plastic piled up. Are they gonna take the leaves and stuff out of the bottom and,
Saw people in there with scoop nets today. I don't know what they're doing.
yeah,
It was, looked like leaves had, just the leaves had blown in from the trees.
yeah, and they're picking them out.
They've been taking vegetation out of there ever since they dredged it.
Yeah,
They have a regular crew that,
It's full-time guys.
full-time guys. I guess most of the water went out.
I just wonder if you put like some sort of an aerator in that pond, if it would help at all. No one was.
Oh, no.
village is researched
You know,
different ways.
we could do a research project on it, not on that pond, but
Not our pond.
All right. Move on to administrative payment of the bills. We have Montauk Anglers Club, $1,943.76 for winterization and repairs. Johnny Vela, shrink wrap 2 pump out boats. And Norwalkie Smith for the annual trustee audit, $9,000. Do you have a motion?
Are these shrink wraps done since the parade? Homecoming?
They left one,
We did 2.
they did
Not-
2 boats.
The third one?
Yeah, I think we're getting a cover for
We're
it.
trying to get a removable cover.
That way
They
it
want
can
to
be
use it in
used
the
for,
Santa parade.
yeah.
Winter
The
parade.
other thing.
And how much would the cover was like $250 or
Yeah,
something?
the cover's a lot cheaper than getting a shrink wrap.
$195?
Yeah. And we don't have to shrink wrap it.
What is? The cover for the boat is $195 and we're paying $1,400 to shrink wrap it? Why don't we just buy 3 covers?
Doug suggested that we try it out this year, see how it holds up,
Like a
because
permanent,
it's not a custom
And we
one.
use it, we
couldn't
rip
get
it
the
out for
custom
the-
made
and you
one
throw it away.
because
We
of
use it
the
for the,
fenders that are around the outside, like the perimeter of the boat. So he suggested we try this and see how it holds up, and
They
then
want it for the Santa.
we make
parade.
decisions moving forward.
You should have one
Yeah.
parade boat.
That's a good idea. I'll make a motion, we pay the bills.
second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, anybody have anything else they want to talk about?
I just wanted to let the trustees know that the Peconic Estuary Program Peconic Estuary Partnership is having their joint policy and management committee on Wednesday, the 30th, at 10 a.m. through noon at Suffolk County Community College. If you're interested, I'll send you the agenda. Yes, Riverhead.
I'd just like to remind everybody that has kayaks on our racks that the date for removal is rapidly approaching, which is what?
November 15th.
November 15th. And if a kayak is not removed from the rack, it's subject to impoundment by the Marine Patrol. And that includes a ticket and a $250 fine. And you can't get the kayak back from the impound yard unless you pay the fine. So make sure you get your kayaks off the racks by November 15th.
So the ticket is more money other than the fine, or is it's just the 250?
It's 250.
Yeah.
250.
Anything else? Anyone have a motion to close?
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Second.
Favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you, everybody.
Have a good night, everybody.